My name is Brian. I'm 15 years old and I have the perfect life. I have only one regret. I wish I had never seen my parents' search history. That's the day my whole world changed. Let me tell you how it all began. But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more crazy stories. I grew up in Florida. My life was amazing. I was an only child and my parents adored me. They gave me everything I always wanted. I had the best clothes and the latest phone, and I was captain of the school baseball team. We won all the competitions and my room was full of bright, shiny trophies. I was always surrounded by friends at school. We had so much fun. On the weekends, if I wasn't playing sports, then I was at the beach with my friends or shopping for the latest designer clothes to wear. I got invited to the best parties in town. My girlfriend's name is Molly. Molly is so pretty. She's tall and blonde, and all the boys liked her. I met Molly at the local diner. She was with a group of her friends. I walked in, and our eyes met across the room. Molly looked away, giggling with her friends. I was sure she liked me. I walked over to their table. "Hi," I said. "I'm Brian." "Hi, I'm Molly," she replied. I asked Molly if she would like to go to the movies with me. She said yes, and that's when my life became perfect. Until the day I came home from school and everything changed. I came home from school and ran up to my bedroom. I was a little stressed as I had so much homework to do. I wanted to get it all finished quickly so that I could go to see Molly later. I switched on my laptop. Nothing. Not a thing. I ran down to the kitchen where Mom was getting dinner ready. "My laptop won't work," I shouted at Mom. "I have so much work to do. What am I going to do?" "It's okay," replied Mom. "You can use Dad's computer tonight. I'll get you a new computer tomorrow." I breathed a sigh of relief and went over to Dad's computer. It was still switched on from this morning when Dad was using it before he went to work. Dad works for a huge international shipping company. They have offices all around the world. For as long as I can remember, we've traveled to so many exotic places because of Dad's work. Japan, England, South Africa. As I glanced at Dad's computer, I wasn't surprised to see Australia in his search history. I guessed that was the next place we would be going to visit. Until I looked more closely, that is. Why would Dad be searching for houses for sale in Sydney, Australia? The next search was even more terrifying. Looking to relocate your whole family to Australia. What was going on? I looked over at Mom. She was smiling to herself as she prepared dinner. She couldn't know what Dad was planning. She would be as upset as I was when she found out. Dad came in from work. He sat down at the kitchen table. Mom passed him a cup of tea. She did the same thing every night. I waited. Then, taking a deep breath, I asked, "Dad, why are you looking at houses for sale in Australia?" Dad looked shocked. He looked at Mom, but she looked just as shocked. "I'm sorry, Brian. I wanted to tell you myself," he said. "My company has offered me a job in Australia. We're moving at the end of this month." "No!" I shouted. "I don't want to go live in Australia. What about all my friends? What about Molly?" All these thoughts were rushing through my head. I wanted to scream. "Mom, did you know about this?" I asked. "Yes, darling," she replied. "It's going to be fantastic. You will make new friends and have a wonderful life." "I don't want new friends," I shouted. I grabbed my coat and ran out of the house. I ran all the way to Molly's house. She was shocked to see me so upset when I arrived. "What is it?" she asked. "My parents are taking me to Australia," I said. "My life is ruined." Molly was upset too at the thought of me leaving, but she tried to cheer me up. "We can still speak every day," she said. She didn't want me to worry about leaving her. I knew she was just trying to make it easier for me. I only had one more month with Molly. I went out with her every day. We wanted to make the most of our last days together. As the end of the month drew near, Molly said she thought it would be better if we didn't see each other as much. We had to get used to being on our own again. I knew she was right. Molly didn't cry when we said goodbye. She just smiled at me and said, "Have a wonderful time. I will be waiting for you." Our last week in Florida went by in a flash. We had to pack up our whole house and say goodbye to all of our family and friends. I was still really angry about having to leave. I knew I was going to hate living in Australia. The flight to Australia was long. After all, it's the other side of the world. When we left Florida, it was the middle of winter. When we arrived in Australia, it was the middle of summer. It felt very weird. My dad's company had organized a car to meet us at the airport and drive us to our new house. As we pulled up at the gates to the house, I was really surprised. The house was huge. It had a big swimming pool in the back garden. I thought it looked nice, but I wasn't going to tell my parents that. "What do you think, Brian?" asked Mom. "It's okay, I guess," I mumbled. We went into the house. Mom showed me which room was mine and told me to unpack my bags and take a shower. I went into the bathroom and let out an enormous scream. Mom and Dad came flying up the stairs to see what was wrong with me. I pointed to the bath. In the bath was the biggest spider I had seen in my life. Dad just laughed at me. "It's okay, Brian," he said. "It's not going to hurt you." This wasn't a good start. I knew things would only get worse. We had been in Australia for only a few days, but it was time for me to start school. My new school was only a 20-minute walk from our house. "Do you want me to walk with you?" my mom asked on the first day. "Of course not," I snapped. "I'm not a baby." But secretly, I wished she could come with me. I didn't want to start a new school. I walked through the school gates and into class. Everyone was already sitting in their chairs. I walked over to the only spare chair and sat down. Everyone was staring at me. The teacher came in and introduced me to everyone. A few people smiled at me. Then, the teacher asked me to tell everyone a little bit about myself. That's when it all went wrong. As soon as I started talking, everyone started laughing. The teacher tried to stop them, but they just carried on. At lunchtime, it only got worse. Everyone else spoke with a different accent to me. They used words that I didn't understand. I went and sat on my own in the corner. I didn't want to try to make friends as I knew they would just laugh at me again. When I got home, I ran straight to my room. Checking careful for spiders on the way, I threw myself down on my bed. "I hate this place. I hate school," I said to myself. I didn't make any friends at school. I didn't get invited to parties. Everyone thought I was weird. One day, I was walking along the corridor at school and saw everyone gathering around the notice board. There was a note there. They were looking for students to play on a school baseball team. My heart leapt. Finally, there was something that I enjoyed doing. I put my name on the list. The next day was the first practice after school. I changed into my sports clothes and went along to the field. When I arrived, there was only one other boy there. "Hi," he said, "I'm John." I was surprised. I hadn't seen John around school before. Mind you, our school was really big, so I didn't know all of the students. "Hi, I'm Brian," I replied. I expected John to laugh at my accent, but he didn't. He just wanted to talk about baseball. He told me how he had always wanted to play baseball, but had never had the chance. We were soon chatting away, and by the time the other boys arrived to play, we were firm friends. After practice, John asked me if I wanted to go to his house. I rang Mom, and she said it was fine. She sounded really happy that I had found a friend. It was amazing how much we both had in common. We were the same age. In fact, our birthdays were on the same day. We both loved playing computer games. We had even both been given a kitten when we were younger and had chosen the same name, Kitty. In some ways, we looked a little like each other too. Maybe that's why we had become good friends straight away. From then on, we were inseparable. At school, we sat together eating our lunch and planned what we would do on the weekend. Mom was so happy that I had finally settled into school. "You must invite John over for dinner," she said. "I'll ask him," I replied. We organized for John to come over on Saturday to my house. I had a big day planned. We would swim in our pool, go out on our bikes. Dad said he would make a barbecue. He felt sure John would enjoy that. I was waiting at the front of our house on Saturday morning when I saw John riding his bike towards us. I waved and he came over to me. "Let's go straight in the pool," I said. I shouted to Mom that John had arrived and we were going for a swim. Mom said that she would bring us some lemonade in a while. We were happily splashing about in the pool when I saw Mom come out of the kitchen door. She took one look at John, dropped the tray of drinks on the floor, and let out a tiny scream. What was wrong with Mom? She looked like she'd seen a ghost. Dad came running out of the house to see what was going on. Mom said something to him and Dad looked over at John. His face turned white. He walked over to us. "I think you two boys had better come into the house," he said. I wondered what was going on. John looked a bit worried. We followed Mom and Dad into the house and sat down. "We have something to tell you both," Dad said. Dad went on to explain what had shocked Mom so much. When I was born, I actually had a twin brother. There'd been a mix-up at the hospital and the doctors had given my twin brother away to another family. This family had moved to Australia. Mom and Dad had spent 15 years trying to find their other son, my brother. They had finally found him, living in Sydney. His name was John. That's why Dad decided we had to move to Australia. I looked at John. He looked at me, and it finally clicked. That was the reason we were so alike. We weren't just good friends, we were twin brothers. Mom and Dad had come looking for John, but we had found each other first.